Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started today. So today we're going to talk about English language learners and some tech tips for you to use with your ELL students. So the first thing, there's a slide deck here, and hopefully you found that on the slide deck there is an address so you can join us, and you can have permissions to actually save and make a copy of this slide deck here. It's bit.ly/el-tips123. EL and tips are all uppercase letters, so make sure that you're doing that when you're typing that address in. And then you can go to File and make a copy. And these are some good notes that you can have so that you can focus on what I'm saying and not have to take notes. So this is me. I'm Jerry Broyles. Again, you can find me at jerry.broyles@fayette.kyschools.us, and you can find me on Twitter at this address as well. All right, so today what we're going to talk about are 4 different things. We're going to talk about using video and how you can use that in your classroom and how the kids can use it as well. We're going to talk about Google Translate and the power behind using that, because there's so many different things you can do with it. It's really a great tool to use. Then we'll talk about Chrome extensions, and I will share my favorite Chrome extension with you. And then we'll talk about some other tools that can help you in your class just get some things done, because I have a background in German and Latin, and that does not help me very much with a lot of our Spanish-speaking kids and other languages that we have inside Fayette County Public Schools. We have a ton of them, so kudos to you. They're helping out there with helping teach our kids that have a different language that is their primary set, and it's not English. All right, so let's start with video here. All right, one of the things that you can use is you can use Screencastify. And Screencastify is really simple to use. So if you need to create a video so that you can give directions for your kids, maybe it's directions that are simpler in language, or maybe you speak a different language that can help your kids that have a different primary language that they're native to. Or maybe you know somebody who does. So this is just something that's really easy to take care of and use. It is an extension, but I put it here with videos. And right up here, this is where the extension is. And you just click on it, and it's really simple to use. If you want to show something, some directions or a process maybe on the desktop, maybe it's in something in Google Classroom that they need to do, then you can click on this, and it will show you that you're using your microphone, and it will embed a webcam actually inside your video. So that right over here in the right-hand corner, right bottom, they'll see a little picture of you talking. And then you can click on record. Now, I can't use Screencastify and Zoom at the same time, but we have quite a few videos out there that's at our website so that you can learn how to use this. Here's one right here that's linked, and then there's another video that's linked right here. Really simple to use. I hope that you're using that. All right, next in our video category is Edpuzzle. Now, Edpuzzle is fantastic. If you're not using it, I want to ask you the question, why are you not using this? It's a great tool. It's wonderful. It takes me back to the days where we would watch a VHS tape and the kids would write down answers on a piece of paper where the vocabulary had been omitted so that they're paying attention. It's so much better than that. And so I'm going to take you into this, because one of the things that you can do with Edpuzzle, besides finding that perfect video, is you can do voiceovers, okay? So you can, once again, simplify the language, or if you know somebody who can speak the language in their native tongue, then you can do that as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to go into Edpuzzle. It does require that you log in as a teacher. It is approved with our data sharing agreements that we have in Fayette County. So this is my content. So these are all of my videos that I've kind of ran through for several years now. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's say we want to do a voiceover on this Science of Tsunamis video that we have. Well, first, I've already used this in an assignment, so I have to make a duplicate of it. So I go right over here to duplicate. Okay, and now I have a duplicate of this. I'm going to go back to Edpuzzle, and I'll go to my content again. And now that's the one that I just created right here. It's the duplicate, so I'm going to click on it. And what I want to do is I want to edit it. It already has questions created in it, but I want to do the voiceover. So I'm going to go right here to edit. And I can click on voiceover right now, right there. And then I can start a recording and the video will play. And then you can use your voice or somebody else's voice to do the voiceover of the entire video. Okay. Now, if you just wanted to do like a snippet of a voice, then you can actually do that as well. And that's something else that you can do inside Edpuzzle. Okay. Now, if you want to learn more about Edpuzzle, we have some videos right here that were created by some of our staff, and it shows you how to use Edpuzzle. And then also down here, there's a video for specifically using voiceovers in Edpuzzle. Okay, so a great tool to use. All right, let's go to Google Translate. All right, so the big thing with Translate is it can translate documents and communication. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. This is just translating documents. So let's go into, if you have a Google Doc, it's easy to take that from English to any other language that you can think of. And we're going to click right here to show you an example of that. So I have the John F. Kennedy Moon speech as a Google Doc. And if I want to translate in this to a different language, it's easy to do. I go right here to Tools, and I click on Tools, and then I go to Translate Document. Okay, and so what it's going to do is it's going to actually create a new title for me and open up a new tab to show that it's going to be a different document. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say demo for Spanish. I'm just going to do demo-Spanish and let me know that this is the Spanish translation of the document that I have right here in front of me. And I can choose the language. So I'm going to go on down here, choose Spanish. All right, right there. And then I'm going to go to Translate. Now, notice it's opening up a new tab. And it's going to rename it for me as well. So there's a renamed translated copy of Demo Spanish, and here it is in Spanish. Now, I do not speak Spanish. I know quite a few people who do, so I know this may not be perfect translation, so it would be advisable, of course, to have somebody go through it and see if anything needs to be changed that just wasn't translated correctly. However, since I do teach math, I'm a math teacher, this would be a great tool for me just to try to get students to be able to communicate a little bit better with me if I don't know how to communicate with them in Spanish or Japanese or Chinese or whatever the language is, okay? So it's a great tool for you to use. All right, let's close that out and go back to our slide deck. So that was how you can translate a Google Doc. Yes, Jacqueline, I love Edpuzzle too. Yes, absolutely. Yep, great. All right, this is really cool. Is an idea that I stole from Jake Miller, and I cited it down here. He is a Google guru, and he is at Jake Miller Tech. If you want to follow him on Twitter, he does have a website that you can get to as well. And he did this, and I thought I would do a little bit of my version on it and show you something else. But I love how he's done this. So anything that you see here in the doc in this slide deck, you can click on and you can make your own copy, okay? So you'll just do exactly what I'm doing right here. You're gonna click on this image and it says NTI Hunger Games Translate Sheet, and I'm gonna click on that. And you can actually just go to File and make a copy of this for yourself. Now, I also think this is a great thing for you to share with your kids. I think that this could be in their tool bag as well. So what it does is this. Everything that I type over here in column A is translated automatically into Spanish, German, and even Zulu, okay? So now, each of these has a code behind it. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But all of these codes are right over here. Yep. And all right, they're over there. So these are the language codes that you'll be using. Now, so I'm going to type in a word here, and I have this math thing going on here. So I'm going to type in the word sphere. And when I do that, it automatically goes ahead and translates each one of these into a different language. Okay, so I'm going to try another one. Let's type in the word tangent. So these are mathematical terms that the kids may not be familiar with, but they may know the Spanish version of it or get an idea of what that is by looking at the word that is typed out in their native language. Okay, so it's really easy to do. Maybe if I were in English class, I may be typing something as simple as a setting, something like that, and maybe a plot. So all of these words are automatically translated into their native language. Now, how does that work? Well, what I did was right here, whatever is in this column here is just a raw, it's raw text, okay? There's nothing going on besides me just typing in a word. Now over here, we're using the function equal Google Translate. And what I would do is I would just copy this to whatever column you want. If you want to do French or something here, we can show you how that works. So let's say we're going to do French, okay? So I'm going to type in French up here. All right, and this is going to make me feel better. I'm going to outline this because I am a little particular about how things look sometimes. So what I want to do is I'm going to take whatever is in this cell right here, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to do a copy and then a paste, okay? All right, and then I'm going to modify this because right now it's looking at cell D2. I don't want it to do that. What I want it to do is this. I want to look at cell A2, okay? So I'm going to do A2 right here. And I want it to go from English to French. Now I need to go over here to where French is. It's FR, that is the language code. So I'm going to change that ES to FR. Okay, and then I'm going to press enter. And now it's translating circles to French. Now, if I want to copy this all the way down, I just click on this cell right here, and then I grab that little square right there, I click on it and drag it all the way down to copy throughout the rest of the cells here. Okay, so now I can see, diameter is translated because it's looking at cell A3, which is in the A column right there, and it's taking it from English to French. Okay, awesome. I love this. Now, I also got another idea after I saw this from Jake Miller. He's a great guy, by the way, that maybe teachers, what they're dealing with is they're dealing with daily assignments. So instead of them having to type out every single instruction in different languages, because I know that a lot of you have to deal with students that have multiple native languages. So you may have somebody who speaks Spanish or French or Chinese or Japanese in the same class. So what you would do here is you would type out your directions here for Tuesday, for example. So I would say, hope you're doing okay. We're going to start with social studies today. And then that translates into each of these languages automatically. And then you can copy and paste that, or maybe you even share this with your kids. You have editing rights to this document. You give them viewing rights so that they can see what you have, what you're trying to communicate with them. Okay, so if I typed in something like this, be sure to start on your homework assignment after the quiz, period. So I type that in, it's translating right here, and there we go. Okay, yeah. So, and that may be a piece where you're, communicating with several of your kids or even your parents if you're sending out emails of what the kids are doing in your classroom. All right, so let's go to the next tool. Here we go. All right, this is translating on the fly. So if you need something translated pretty quickly, Google Translate can step in and help you do that work. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works. So I'm going to go right here to a new tab. I'm going to clean up my area here and close that out. All right, open up a new tab. I'm going to type in translate.google.com. It comes up automatically because I've been there several times. And this is just what you do here is you tell what language it's looking at here as you type words in. I'm going to be typing in English. And then over here, you can change what it's going to translate into, and any of these languages would work, okay? So I'm going to keep it on something simple that maybe I can halfway understand, so I'll keep it on French. And I'll say something like this. Where is the park? And after I type that out, it now has this written in French, and I can actually play that and listen to it. So I think I have my computer sound shared with you, so you should be able to hear it. So here we go.
Où est le parc? Où est le parc?
Yeah, okay. So that's easy to do. So you can do it in any other language over here. I'll go back to Spanish because I know we have a lot of Spanish speaking students in our classes. And then we go here. It's already translated for me, whatever I have typed here. And we can go back and
¿Dónde
forth.
está el parque? ¿Dónde está el parque?
Okay, now, another thing that you may not have known is that it will translate documents. And actually, I haven't tried a lot of this, but the ones that I have tried looked very impressive. So I'm going to go right here to Documents, and you can upload any of these documents from your computer, and it will translate them. Now, what I've done here is I went to, let's see, I downloaded a I Have a Dream speech. It was a PDF. Now I'm going to open that for you because I want you to look at it. For me, this is just a picture, right? You can kind of see this, not even text. It is a homemade PDF of just a picture of text. And I wasn't very confident that this would do really well. So I'm going to show you what it looks like though, okay? So I'm going to close that out, close this out. Now what you'll do is you'll go to browse your computer, and you're going to find that PDF that you want to convert. So here it is. I'll open it up. And it comes up here, it loads, and now I'm going to click on the translate button. Okay, and now look at this. It translated it into Spanish before I could actually read it, but I think the type is pretty good. It's not perfect because once again, it's a picture of text. If this had actually been a PDF of text, I think it would have done just, really a great job. And I think it's doing pretty good right now. Okay, so I think that's a huge plus, and that's something you can definitely keep in your tool belt because that's going to come in handy when you're translating documents. Now, I also did like a Word document earlier, and that turned out really nice as well. Okay, the only drawback was it doesn't create a document when it does it. It just kind of puts it into text that you would have to copy and paste into something else, maybe a Google Doc or something else. But man, it worked really well. Really impressed. All right, so let's look at some Chrome extensions. And my goodness, we have a lot to cover here, but we're doing a great job. So here we go. The first one that I'll look at is ReadWrite for Google Chrome. Now, I think a lot of you are probably familiar with this, but I want to kind of point out some limitations of this. When you first install it, and when the students first install it, they get a 30-day free trial, and it's the premium version. It does some really remarkable things. You can do some highlighting. You have like a word dictionary to use. You can do some really cool stuff. But the problem is after 30 days, all that stuff goes away. It just vanishes. It's gone. The reason I use this is because it's great, and I'm going to have this little splash here to use in Google Apps. Okay, so after the 30 days is over, you can still use it to read Google Docs, Google Slide Decks, Google Sheets if you want, and Google Sites. So if it's a Google site, it will read it. Now, if you're trying to go to like a website like CNN.com, it's not going to read that for you. Okay, but I do have something else that will. Now, I want to show you how this works. Again, since my microphone and my webcam are taken over by Zoom, I can't really record or talk using this, but I have a video to show you how this works. So here we go. I'm going to click on the video, and we're going to watch it, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, here we go.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be plain and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
Yeah, so it's a really good reading. I like the voice. The modulation is good. This is how you do this. Let's see. I have it up here. It's a little purple puzzle piece. It looks like that. And I click on it. Okay. I'll wait for it to open. Oh, there it is. Yep. I just turned it off. So you're just going to place your cursor wherever it's going to start reading. So I'm going to place it right there. and ask it to read.
Read and app. Write for Google Chrome. Chrome is an easy-to-use text-to-speech reader for.
Yeah, so really easy to use, and that read just fine. I do have this video here so it can preserve a trial for you so you can see what it looks like, okay? So, and when I'm done with this, I can just click back on the purple puzzle piece, or I can go over here to the X. Now, if you click right here, there are some options so you can change the voice and a few other things, all right? All right, so let's go to the next one. Now, this is my favorite extension to use with kids. It's called the Immersive Reader. If you are a Microsoft fan, and I must say I am, okay? I don't get to use it very often, but I love Microsoft. Immersive Reader is usually through the Edge browser. The problem is that we have, 42,000 kids, and we have like 36,000 Chromebooks, I think, right now. So Chromebooks, you can't use the Edge browser. Well, there's this Google extension. It's called Immersive Reader. You can click right here to actually go to find it and download it, okay? I gave you that link. And there's some preferences you can change and so forth that I'm going to walk you through. So this is how you use it. You use it on websites. I have this little splash here to remind you. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to msn.com. I'm going to find me an article to read. And I can't even type it in, so I'll just go to the home button. That's so much easier. All right, here's an article right here that's pretty good. I've read this actually today. I played with it some today. This is how you use this. So here you have this website. It has a lot of pictures. It has ads. It has so much that's distracting to the kids, okay? But the Immersive Reader will read to the kids, and it does a fantastic job of doing that. So what I do is I just highlight the text that I want to be read, and I can go down the entire page, include everything. Okay, I'm going to stop because I don't want all that other stuff. So come on, let's go back up a little bit. Here we go. We'll stop right there. Okay, now I do a right click on it, okay? And it says, now that I have it, it's installed, it's up here. Let's see, it's right there and it's on. It'll say, help me read this. So I click on that and it takes all of that text and makes it into something that's easy to read without distractions, without pictures, without ads, okay? It's perfect, it looks great. Right down here, I can just click on the audio button to play, and I'm going to hear it read to me, so here we go.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has struggled to provide accurate data on the novel coronavirus. The CDC must wait for states to report infection.
Okay, I think the voice and the modulation is a little bit better. It actually pauses a little bit better at punctuation and does a really good job of that. Nice voice to use. Now, what I want to do over here is show you some other things, how you can actually change some of the controls here that you have. And this is what you'll want to use with your kids. So over here, it's hard to see. Sometimes there's this little arrow to go full size and then to just kind of bring it back to minimize. So I'm going to click on that. And now I have it full screen here, and I have these choices right here. So I'm going to go over those right now. So I have text preferences. This is where I can change the size of the text. That's going to be great for our kids who have visual impairments, visual issues where they can't see the text very well. I can increase the spacing. This is regular spacing. I like it increased for our kids so they can get, just a little breath of fresh air between words, and it's easier for them to see. Then you can change the font, and they can change the themes and so forth. I'm not much into that. Some of the kids may like it like that because it's really great for them. They think it's cool, whatever it may be. They're just going to make the choices that work best for them. Okay, then right here we have grammar options. And one thing that you can do is you can break down all of these words into their syllables. So if you're teaching phonics and you're teaching syllables, now the kids can look at those and have a better chance of reading those. Now I'm going to take that off. They can also use these to highlight different parts of speech. So now all of the nouns are actually colored in purple. I can color the verbs in red, and now you can teach parts of speech and so forth. Okay. All right, let's go to the last, which is reading preferences. And this is where they can actually limit the number of lines that they're seeing at one time. Okay, so they can limit it to just one line as they read, 3 lines, and so on. Okay, now if they don't want that line focus, they can turn it off right here. Another thing that they have, and this is on by default, is the picture dictionary. Not every word has a picture associated with it, but a lot of them do. So let's see if we have one. Here's one right here, infections. I think that one works. So I'm going to click on that, and I can listen to it being read to me.
Infections.
I can hear it in Spanish as well. I'm going to show you how to change that language in just a second, but Spanish.
Infecciones.
All right, and now I have a picture showing that noun. Okay, so not everything has that. So like creating does. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. Standardization, it just, you can listen to it in both English and Spanish, but it doesn't have a picture associated with it. Okay, so really helpful. All right, now over here, when we had that translate pop up, remember it said Spanish. I can change that to a different language here if I want. Okay. All right, and I can also translate. I don't know what that language is. I'm going to go back to Spanish. Didn't mean to do that. Latin America, very good. You can also translate the entire document and go back and forth if you want to. Okay, so here we go. We translated the entire document into Spanish. I can turn that off, and now I can read it in English. Okay, so Immersive Reader, it's a great tool for the kids to use. They just have to download it to their Chromebook, and it'll be in Chrome whenever they change devices, as long as they're logged in. Okay. All right, the next one is Mercury Reader. And Mercury Reader, I think, really just kind of simplifies some things for you. And it's not as aggressive, I guess, for changing the font and the text and so forth. It really just kind of cleans the page up so it's nice and easier to read. One of my favorite websites to go to is yahoo.com. And why is that? Because it has a ton of advertisements on it that really lets Mercury Reader shine pretty well. So I'm going to find an article here. Let's see. How about this one right here? Scientists in China. Okay, good deal. So it has all this stuff going on over here, has advertisements popping up. And I'm going to use the Mercury Reader to show you what that looks like, and it cleans it up really nicely. It's this rocket shape right here. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. And now it takes all of that text and it cleans it up for me so it's a little bit easier to read. I think it kind of switched pages on me, but maybe not. Maybe just add those pictures. So remember, this is just to kind of clean up a lot of the advertisements that they see, and it makes it a little bit easier to read. You don't have all those settings to change a lot of things. You do have a few things you can change. I'll click on that right here. There's a little gear here, and you can click on it to change like the text size. Okay, you can change the type setting, which is sans to serif, and you can change like a dark theme to a light theme. So a few options, not nearly as many as the Immersive Reader. But again, this is for our kids just so that they are not distracted so much. Okay, and it's easier for them to pick out the text that they need to read instead of the other stuff going on. All right, again, Mercury Reader is right here. You just click on this to actually go to where the extension is, and you can download it. Okay, I ran across this issue when I was helping a teacher who was teaching students how to use Spanish, and she is like, how do you actually get the accents to work and the other special characters to work inside the G Suite, inside Google Docs? So this is a special characters click and paste extension, and it looks like this up here. There's a big picture right here of what it looks like, but it shows up right up there. Okay, and I give you the directions of how to use it right here. So you're going to use it inside a Google Doc. You're going to highlight the letter that you would like accented, and then you have Control-C to copy it and Control-V to paste it. So let's do that together. So I'm going to click on this image right here, which is actually a Google Doc I can play with. And I have my cheat sheet down here to remember that I want to say the word acute accent when I'm talking about cafe. And then with my German word for street, it is Strasse. It's called an SZ, that special B looking symbol. So if I want to type out cafe right here, so I'm going to type it out the best I can with my regular keyboard. Now I know that that E needs an accent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the E. Then I'm going to go over here to my special characters extension, click on it, and I want to find the E that I want. Okay, it's not any of these, it's the one at the top. So I click on that, and now that is copied to my clipboard. So I'm just going to go a little space in front of here, and I'm going to do Control V, and now it pasted that right in there. I'm just going to back it up. Oops, too far. And now we have that spelled correctly and using the acute accent. So if it's a German word and I need that set, then I can go ahead and type as much as I can with my keyboard. So I'm going to type in STRA, and it's a B looking, the set looks like a B. So I'm going to type that out as best I can. And now I'll back it up a little bit. I'm going to highlight this and copy it. So I'll do a Control C to copy. Then I'll go right up here to my special characters again. And there it is right there. So I'm going to click on it, the etset. I'm going to go right here, do a little space, do Control V to paste it. And now I can go ahead and type that word. Now, I did that very slowly. You're going to be very proficient at this as you start doing it with your kids and whatever you're typing out. And again, the kids can use this as well to type out words of a different language, okay, characters of a different language. All right. So let's look at a few other tools we have here. Okay. All right, so voice typing. So if your kids this is a great way to have your kids type if they have trouble typing. It's also a great way for them to check their pronunciation in different languages, okay? And these are the commands you can use. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to open up a Google Doc here. Okay, so show you where this looks. Let's open up a new one. All right, and I can't use voice typing because my microphone is controlled by Zoom, but I have a video to show you. But this is what you'll do. You'll just put your cursor wherever you're ready to start the voice typing. And maybe it's a prompt. Maybe you've given something to them in Google Classroom. You have all of the directions typed out here, and then they place their cursor underneath that, and then they use the voice typing feature. So they will go to Tools and Voice Typing. And right here, this is the language that they can choose from. So right now it's set to English if you want to have your kids speak in English to check their pronunciation. If you want them to type out in a different language, you can do that as well. There's Spanish, all kinds of different dialects and so forth, and different languages and so on that you can choose from. Okay, there's German, so on. Now, and then they're going to click on this, and I'm going to show you the video that will take you through the rest of this. They will click on this, it'll turn red, and that will mean that it's actually recording and typing at the same time. Okay, so let's look at the video here, and we'll get that started. Hi, this is a short video to show you how to use the voice typing feature inside a Google Doc. Here we have a Google Doc where a student can respond to the prompt. The prompt is up here, so the student should read that, and then click at the end of the line and then press the enter key a few times so that he or she has a space to then respond to the prompt here. To use the voice typing feature, go to Tools and click on Voice Typing. Now we have a microphone here. When it's black, you're actually not recording. When it's on red, then you are actually recording. You can change the language here that you want if you have a different language that you're going to be speaking. I will be speaking in English today, so I'm going to keep it on English. Okay, so when you're ready to start voice typing, you just merely click the microphone. I was taking a cruise with my family 3 weeks ago, and we all had to self-quarantine on the ship! Exclamation point. I was really scared because none of the countries would let us dock. Period. We were really bored, but luckily we still had really good food to eat, and the ship's staff were so nice to us. Period. New line, new line. We debarked from the ship 5 days ago and are now at a U.S. Army base in quarantine, period. The food is not really as good, and I miss my friends, period. Now, I didn't want them to put depart here. I wanted them to type debarked. So what we can do right here is we can just click on that word and click the X, and then we can actually just type over that. And we're going to go back through this and make sure that everything that we said has been typed out correctly and spelled correctly. Voice typing is not perfect, but it works really well for most of our students. Okay, so let's go back a little bit here. Let's see. There we go. Hi, this is a short video to show you how to get that back to my slide deck. But notice when I was actually using voice typing, I used certain commands so that it would actually go to a different line. So start a new paragraph. I use period. I use exclamation point or exclamation mark as well. So they can use these to do their punctuation as they're speaking. So it kind of works like Siri and using your text feature as well, you know, when you're texting people. Very smart, very AI, and it works really good for our kids. Okay. All right. This is reusing a post in Google Classroom. So I had a teacher contact me and say that she was having trouble keeping up with all the classes that she was a part of. So she was an ESL teacher, and she was actually put in different Google Classrooms and was trying to help her kids understand the assignment and what the classroom teacher was asking them to do. So I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to open up Classroom here, and this is just how you can reuse a post. So it doesn't have to be like an EL student thing only. You can do this with any Google Classroom you have, especially if you're teaching like a 9 weeks course and you want to do kind of the same stuff, you know, for the next 9 weeks. So I'm going to show you how that works. So we're going to go to classwork right here and go to create. And right here is where you reuse a post. So let's say that I want to reuse a post from a different classroom and I want to send it just to my students that are my EL students. Okay. So I'm going to click on reuse a post. Okay. And I can go right here to find a different post. I'm going to click back here. This will take me to any of the classes that I have used. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was last semester, whatever it may be. And I can go into one of those classes. Maybe it's this one right here. And I'm going to find a post. Maybe it's this sorting fish one, which is really elementary, but that's okay. I'll click on that and reuse it. It's just an example. And now I can, maybe the directions are, you know, they're not simple enough for my students to understand. So I can go through here and I can change the directions, and I'll type that out. And whenever I'm ready, and we'll make sure all the settings are good, it's taking this slide deck, making a copy for each student. And then in my classroom, I want to differentiate the assignment for my EL kids. I can go right here and send it not to all the students, but just to some of my students. Okay, yeah. So once I do that, I click off of that, and then I can assign it just as I would normally. Okay, so that's going to be really helpful to kind of scale down, you know, how many different assignments you have to create and save you some time. So reusing a post is what that is called. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, this is how parents and students, maybe it's a parent that is working with a younger child, and maybe the parent is not very fluent in English or whatever language that you're using. So they can change the primary language on their Google account. So this works really well in Classroom because a lot of things in Classroom that have titles or maybe it's a category, those change into a different language for the user. So maybe it's, again, a parent using, helping a child in the classroom, you know, that they have at home, or maybe it's the child themselves who are more comfortable looking at it in a different language. So this is a slide deck and shows you the exact directions that I'm going to walk through right here. So you can click on that and find it. But here, this is how it works. They're going to go to their picture right here. Okay, not this one, but this one. Okay, go to their Google account, and then they're going to click on Manage Your Google Account. So they're going to go to Privacy and Personalization and Manage Your Data and Personalization right here. And then they're going to scroll down a little bit, and they're going to go to General Preferences for the Web, and see where it says Language right here? I have it as English United States. I'm going to change that to another language. So I'm going to click right here. And this, by the way, is an Easter egg, one of those Google Easter eggs, bork, bork, bork. I think maybe you remember that from the Muppet Show. If you remember the Muppets, some of their language was bork, bork, bork. Anyway, so I'm going to change it to Spanish, which is Espanol right here. So I'm going to click on that and hit select. Now I'm going to keep this open because I may not be able to find my way back. Who knows? So I want to show you what this looks like in Classroom though, because it looks a little different. So here we go. We can see that some things have changed already. So I'm going to click on my test class here. And now you can see that things are actually translated into Spanish. Now, things that I have done as a teacher or documents that I have created are not translated, but just the titles of some of the assignments to help the kids be able to read a little bit better in their native language has been translated for them. Okay, so it's just another tool that maybe it will help your kids be able to work and communicate a little bit better in their classroom. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close that out. I'm going to go back here and change this back to English. And here we go, English right there. Then I'm going to select it. Yep. And now I'm good to go. Everything's back to English for me. Okay. I have two more things to show you, and these things are fairly new to me, but I wanted to share with you. Maybe it's something you can use. I haven't gotten into them very heavily, but I think they're going to be good. This is the Talking Points app, and it is an app that you can download to your phone, and it's free right now for teachers, and you're able to send a message to parents, and then on their end, they can choose how they want that message to be translated when they read it on their phone. I've heard great reviews about this. I haven't spoken to anybody specifically, but what I've read on the web seems very encouraging, and it seems like it's easy to use. So if you have used this with your kids or with your parents, I would love to hear back from you and get your testimonial and post it right here, right on this slide deck, okay? The second thing that I've seen, and I saw this just recently, is Translate in Google Meet. So if you're using Google Meet, students can click on closed captioning, and they can actually change the language of what is being spoken to their language. So it's a really cool feature, and there's a video right here for you to watch. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more and expand on this slide a little bit more and give you more details, but I thought that was very promising, okay? So there's a video. You can watch that on your own. I want to take you back up to the very top and let you know where the slide deck is again, so you can watch that video and get some of this stuff and actually kind of dig into it and save it for your notes. So here it is right here. I know that I'm about 45 minutes into this session, so we're going to go ahead and end it right now. And thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you got something out of it. And please, 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 if you do this, if you work with your students and use some of this material, please email me and let me know. I would love to know and hear from you, see how it's going with your kids. Okay, thanks for joining us today. If there's any questions, I'll go over here to the chat and we'll see if we can answer those questions for you.